Sound check, sound check. Okay, so in today's video, we will be going to learn about rotations. So in every team composition, you must have a proper rotation. Of course, in every team comp, you must have, like what the last vid explained, you must have a proper formula, if I might say, in uh, in every team comp. So like this, 2 freeze, 1 hydro, 1 anemo is a freeze comp, and this one is a form of a national team, as well as this one is a shout team comp. So in every team composition, you must start with a proper rotation so that you can maximize the damage that you can do. So in this team composition, this is national team composition. Ignore this. Okay, so wait. Let's make this one the national. So this one is a national team composition. This one, Xiangling, Bennett, Shinkyu, and Sucrose. And some variants of the national team also came from this one. So in the national team comp, there is always Bennett and Xiangling, and the most unit replaceable are these two. Sucrose can be replaced by Kazuha. That will be also a national team. And Shinkyu can be replaced by either Ayato, Yelan, or Child. That is also considered a national team composition, just another variant. And also the very first team comp, I think, is you have no anemo, but rather you have these Chongyun to apply a freeze with Shinkyu and melt with these two. But nowadays, because of the viridescent effect of the anemo, Sucrose or any anemo with a good CC, Venti can be, but Venti is more on freeze composition. But Sucrose and Kazuha is more suited here because they can boost elemental damage, pyro, melt, vaporize, everything. So let's start here. Again, in building this team, Bennett and Xiangling is a must. Xiangling you can get on Spiral Abyss. Sucrose and the Shinkyu, as well as Bennett, they are more common on Wishes, as well as the Paimon's Paimon Shop. This one. I think the next one in July, I think Xiangling is there, if I'm correct. And of course, these three can be found there. Shinkyu, if you played last time on Ayatos, when we are last on Inazuma, he is a free character that you can get there on the events. So yeah, I hope you got these for this national team comp rotation. So the first that you will do is always apply pyro or any element that you want to amplify. That is the very first thing that you need to do on every elemental reaction team. So for this one, our main DPS is Xiangling, followed by a swirl of Sucrose, so that it will amplify the damage. Because of course Sucrose must have a viridescent Venerer so that she can swirl and decrease the elemental resistance of opponents that are the elements that is infused by the swirl. Okay, so for the optimum itemization and artifact, so Xiangling, the catch, Bennett is a little bit arguable. If you have no problems with energy management of these four, you can go for Blackcliff Sword for the base damage, the buff that he can provide, or you can go with Favonius Sword. Now, Favonius Sword will always generate small energy particles if you have enough critical rate. So, if you run Favonius Sword, you always must have crit rate here. But as for my Bennett, he can do 50 to 100 with using these artifacts. So, if example you do not have that kind of Bennett and you want to use Favonius Sword, again, use Favonius Sword if you have energy problems. But if not, Blackcliff Longsword or Prototype Rancor level 90 is it's good, or any 5 stars. But since I have only one 5-star, so I have to go to Blackcliff Longsword. So I will use this Favonius Sword for the demo, and I will use this one, crit rate. So why do you need to have crit? Because the passive here is only applicable when you crit. Crit hits have 90%. So if your Bennett doesn't crit, it will not generate any particle. So it is very recommended here to have 70% or higher, or 60% or higher crit rate. But again, if you do not have any problems with either your energy team, I am talking about the overall team synergy here, wherein if you did one rotation, all your bursts should be back. So for the sake of this demo, I will be using Favonius Sword. And Xiangling must have an Emblem of Severed Fate for energy management. This one can be ER element energy recharge, but I do not have one, so might as well use that. Energy recharge for Xiangling must be 180, but again, I do not have that energy sands, so I only have 171. But I can manage with this team comp. I do not have any problems with the rotation, so the attack sands works okay for me. But of course, if you have energy recharge here, it's also okay to have 200 plus energy recharge here. So again, in our DPS and sub DPS, our crit rate and damage should be 50 and 150 for DPS and sub DPS. So with this the catch, the elemental burst crit rate will be increased by 12. So if we'll add it plus 12, so like 56. So this is quite decent. Again, on Bennett, of course, noblesse oblige. This is always the case here. You can go for attack or HP here. This one at HP, I think, if you want. But I am doing a pyro bonus here because of course my Bennett is C6 and advanced. That is a topic for another time. But yes, for now. Okay, sorry. For this one, of course, this is always flat attack. I mean flat HP. So any flowers, this will always be flat HP. It will only change on the substats. So aim for crit and the ER for this one substats. This one is always flat attack. Again, any artifact is flat attack. So aim for crit rate, attack, critical damage or energy recharge here. Those are your priorities. Of course, for DPS and sub DPS, your priority should always be critical stats. This one, you can run for attack percentage or energy recharge or elemental mastery. Energy recharge is very much good here, and of course the two artifacts for, two substats for critical. But again, I am not farming for the domain of emblem here yet. And this one, of course, pyro damage, so as it's always been critical. Again, two criticals. This time we can opt for crit rate, crit damage, energy recharge, attack, elemental mastery, any of those. But be sure to always have critical values there. Excuse me. For this one, again, critical damage or critical rate depending on what you need, and of course another critical substats. And as I've said earlier, attack percentage, EM, energy recharge for the substats. And for this one, Bennett, again, the weapon can be Favonius Sword, Prototype Rancor, or Blackleaf Longsword. If you want to have a bigger attack, you can go for Blackleaf Longsword. If you have problems with energy management, Favonius Sword. You can also go for Ali Flash, level 90. They are the same base attack as a Blackleaf Longsword, and of course Prototype Rancor. For the artifacts, always go for Noblesse Oblige. So again, your priority on Bennett should be energy recharge and critical rate. If you will be running Favonius Sword. If you will be running for Favonius Sword, I expect that your damage on Bennett is not quite, like a 50k per burst. So it is understandable that you will run for crit rate and energy recharge. Crit damage is, it's not that good. Not good. It's not that recommended unless you are running like Bennett like mine, wherein you have pyro damage bonus and everything. So this one, of course, critical rate and energy recharge. This one, if your Bennett has already 210 or 200 energy recharge, you can go for energy recharge. For attack here, or you can again go for this one. So again, I do not have any problems here. So this is my Bennett 180, and 50 200, so that my Bennett's burst. Of course, your talent priority should be your burst. So in a single burst of my Bennett can, in this stats, can deal like 50k. So on Xiangling, again, always prioritize Pyronado then Goba. And then this one, you're not using your normal attack. So for Bennett, prioritize this one. Again, if you have Constellation 6 available, do not upgrade Bennett to C6 unless you know what you're doing. This is not recommended for new players or for players that that are unsure. Do not C6 your Bennett unless you know what you're doing. So again, for the purpose of the rotation that I am talking about, crit rate, and this one will stay energy recharge, and this one can go for HP or attack. If you have enough crit rate without this, so again, an example, if all your artifacts roll for crit rate, and without this crit rate, you already have like 70. This can be healing bonus. So again, for the sake of this one, I'll be using Favonius Sword and with the energy recharge of 250. You know when your Bennett is good when you have use to passion overload and fill up his energy. No, not two, I mean 3 to 4, I think. You already fill up his burst. Okay? So in Shinkyu, this is his best sword, sacrificial sword. For me, personally, in energy management, this is more usable than any 5-star. So again, this is the best sword that you can give to Shinkyu. So remember to refine it to 5 so that well, unlike Bennett, he only needs to hit opponents to trigger this one. So the passive here is if you hit an enemy with your elemental skill, and if that passive is triggered, you will have like a clock, I think, a clock icon on the top of your character of your Shinkyu. That means that the sword is triggered, and the cooldown of your skill will be reset. So let's try here. Again, it will not work with enemies that are invulnerable, not invulnerable, that have shields, wherein you cannot damage them directly. So take note of the clock icon here, and take note of the skill. So I will use the skill of Shinkyu. See that, the clock, and my skill reset. So that is how you do it. I think it has a cooldown of 16 seconds. So it is quite synergistic here, because the duration is, I mean, the cooldown is 21, so the downtime is only 5 seconds. Again, you know when your Bennett is good with your energy recharge if he does the burst, and then tap 1, 2, and your burst is up already. You only needs 2 to 3 taps, maximum of 4, so that you will have his burst ready. Again, this is all the what I'm saying here, all are mastery of energy recharge of your team. For Shinkyu, again, I recommend here 4-piece emblem. 4-piece emblem of Silver Plate. But if you are an old player like me, I already have the artifacts of Shinkyu here before this domain existed. So this one can do Heart of Depth or 2-piece Noblesse. Any of that. Again, 2-piece Heart of Death, or 2-piece Gladiator, or any 18% attack, or 2-piece Heart of Depth, or 2-piece Noblesse. But again, the best artifact is still the 4-piece Emblem of Silver Fate. So for the substats, you can go for again what a sub DPS looks like: crit damage, crit rate, attack, and energy recharge, as well as this one. For this one, you can go for attack or energy recharge, but seeing that Shinkyu always has his weapon, sacrificial sword, I think this can be attack. Again, hydro damage and critical, depending on what you need, rate or damage. So if you do not have a sacrificial sword, Pavonius sword can do, or if you still have this one, Pestering Desire. Yeah, that's the only thing that I can recommend. Or any ER substats sword if you have 5 stars. But again, the sacrificial sword is very much recommended. So again, in Sucrose, sacrificial fragments is recommended. Same as Shinkyu, the passive here is to whenever Sucrose does her elemental skill, it has a percent to reset the cooldown. So again, they are much what do you call that? Recommended, highly recommended. So for Sucrose, for this VV, and the only substats that you need are Elemental Mastery and Energy Recharge. Elemental Mastery and Energy Recharge. Elemental Mastery and Energy Recharge. This one, I do not have Energy Recharge. Elemental Mastery and Energy Recharge. So 150 can do for Sucrose. And the talent, Fantastic Voyage is always a priority. Passion Overload and this one is not very much. These two is priority, but prioritize here this one first. For Sucrose, you can level them up, but only if you have spare. But if you have characters that need this one, Guide to Freedom and the Nectars, prioritize them first than Sucrose. Sucrose does not need high levels of skill. So again, the higher the constellation, the better. Except for Bennett, do not C6 him. Okay, so for the rotation again, if you apply Pyro and swirl it, if you apply Pyro and swirl it, the opponents that are affected will have their resistance decreased. So that is always your opening skill. Either you go for Bennett or for Xiangling Q. For Xiangling elemental skill. Any of those two that will apply Pyro. And the second thing that you will do is to swirl with Sucrose. You can go for a burst, or you can just go for a skill. It depends to you. Again, this is for beginners only. For the rotation that will give you a maximum damage, you will also have to take note of the internal cooldown. Sucrose normal attacks, the number of normal attacks, and it's too much advanced. So just for the beginners, I'm teaching you the basics. So for enemies like this, you cannot go applying Pyro because he is standing on water, so automatically the one that you will swirl will be a Hydro. So let's look for another enemy. That one, the Maiden. So again, any application of Bennett or Xiangling, and the next thing that you will do, of course, is to burst with Bennett. So if you burst with Bennett, everything that stands on the burst of Bennett, the red circle of Bennett, will have their attack increased by around 100%. So of your base attack, not on the attack here. This one, the base attack, the 646, which you can get based on the weapon. So again, if you want to boost his attack, go for high base attack weapon. But if you are having problems with the energy, Favonius Sword can do. So again, if you burst with Bennett, all skill that is used on that circle will be boosted. So one thing that you should know is the snapshot. What is a snapshot? Snapshotting means using a skill. Famous example is the Pyronado. Using a skill or burst under a buff that will apply the buff in the duration of Pyronado or any skill that can snapshot. So again, if you use Xiangling's burst on Bennett's burst, the duration within the duration of the Pyronado, these 10 seconds, it will deal damage. It will calculate damage, the same damage that Xiangling has when she casted the Pyronado. So regardless of whether you are standing on Bennett's burst, after you cast Pyronado, it will deal the same. So this is an example. I use this. So my Xiangling snapshot, you see the attack difference, 2.8. Last time it is only 1,000. So I am standing on Bennett's burst. My attack is 2.8. If I use Pyronado here, the whole duration of Pyronado will apply this 2,800 damage. So if I use Pyronado here, see that 1.9. So I am doing 1.9 with Vaporize there. Even if I go out of Bennett's burst, Xiangling will still do that damage, 1.8, 1.8, 1.8. Again, regardless of whether I am still standing on Bennett's burst. So again, see that I only need to tap one Bennett's skill for me to fill up his burst. So that's what snapshot means. So what skill does not snapshot? That is Xingqiu. Xingqiu's burst does not snapshot. So in order for me to fully maximize the damage of Raincutter, he needs to stand on Bennett's burst within the duration of his burst. So but both Xiangling and Xingqiu's burst will linger even after you cast them. So that means you do not need Xiangling to be on the field for us to maximize the damage of Pyronado and Goba's attack, as well as Xingqiu. Xingqiu does off-field damage, which means he does not need to be on the field when using Raincutter. So he will be on the field just by casting this one and casting this one, as well as Xiangling. Xiangling will only be on the field by casting this one and this one. So most of the time, Bennett and Sucrose will be the one on the field. Bennett casting the Passion Overload to fill this one, and Sucrose to continuously apply the buff by swirling enemies. So again, Xingqiu's burst do not snapshot. So if I use Bennett's burst and I use this, his skill will damage 4,000. But if I go out 4,000, it's only 3,000. See? So I need to be on Bennett's burst for me to able to maximize the damage that I got from Xingqiu. Oops. So those are the kit of these 4 characters. Let me get energy first. What I am doing here is called the energy funnel. If you want to know that, I highly suggest that you watch my other video in energy funneling. But yes, so what is our rotation? So you know the basics already of these 4 characters. So what will be a good rotation? Of course, number 1 is to throw in either Goba or Bennett, and then burst with Bennett, and then swirl with Sucrose, so that the one that you will swirl will always be Pyro. And then Shinchu with the Rain Cutter with his burst, and apply Hydro to the enemy. And then Xiangling burst, so that she can vaporize Shinkyu. Again, if you're having trouble with vaporize, I have another video for that, the elemental reactions. But in this sense, we are vaporizing Shinkyu. Shinkyu is the one that is applying continuous Hydro, while Xiangling is the one vaporizing the Hydro. So what does it look like? Again, Bennett's burst, swirl, then apply Hydro with Shinkyu, and then burst with Xiangling inside the Bennett's burst, and then continuous attack. See that? 45,000, 35,000. That is the let's go for enemies that are harder to kill. The rotation is kinda broken there because she went outside. But if you want to just practice, you can practice on your own, but I will only show this team comp once because I think I need to teach you about other team composition. This one is a very good and well-known team composition because all you need here is are 4-star characters. One of them are free, which is Xiangling, and the other one, Shinkyu, is always you can always get him once a year, or if there are events in Liyue, like the Lantern Rite. And Bennett and Sucrose, they can be bought on, I mean, these 4 can be bought on shop, but yeah, if you are very wise on spending your glitters. So again, apply Pyro, swirl, apply Pyro, swirl. You can burst with Sucrose if you have many enemies. Then Shinkyu burst. Again, remember to normal attack when Shinkyu burst is active, so that his burst will deal actual Hydro application. If you are not normal attacking, the burst will not be that effective. I mean, it will not activate at all. So let's do this. Pyro application, swirl for CC, apply vaporize, and then this one, Xiangling burst, and then switch to Sucrose, and she will be the one that is on field applying Animo debuff. Like that. So that is one rotation. So in that rotation, I should have a full burst on all characters. See that? But what I did there is that I did not activate their elemental skill. So let's try it again in a way that we can apply all elemental skill. So in this from this point onwards, you can replay this one to see this. Xiangling skill, Bennett's burst, then skill, Sucrose burst, then all her elemental skill, then Shinkyu burst, then skill, and then no, that is too long. So Xiangling elemental skill, Bennett's elemental skill, then burst, Sucrose burst, and one elemental skill, then Shinkyu, then Xiangling, then rotate to any character that has their elemental skill not on cooldown. So again, this one, Xiangling, swirl, burst, Shinkyu apply, and then Xiangling, and then switch to your characters that have active skill. As you can see, I am actively switching between them. So this is one rotation. Okay, that is one rotation. I rotated in a way that after the rotation, all my bursts are full. So again, let's try it again. Apply pyro, then swirl. Apply pyro, then swirl, then activate both off-field burst like Xiangling and Shinkyu. Remember to activate Shinkyu first, so that he's the one applying the hydro. Shinkyu first, then Xiangling, and then switch to whoever's skill is not on cooldown and use them. Again, switch to whoever is not on cooldown. Again, do normal attacks in this rotation. That is one rotation. Oops. Let's see. This is one rotation. My Xiangling does not have enough. Again, because I do not have energy recharge sands with her. And also remember that your burst will give you invincibility frame. It will give you invulnerability frame when used. So an example is here. See that I did not take any damage, but if I do not have other burst, I will take damage. Again, an example. If he jumps, I will burst. I'm too late. But remember, when used on the right time, your burst can have invulnerability frame, like that. So that is a rotation of the national team. It can work with again any team. Let me show you another team. This one is an Ayato variant, wherein I am using Ayato instead of Shinkyu, and using Kazuha instead of Sucrose. But the concept is still the same. The concept is still the same. Apply pyro, then swirl with your anemo, and then hydro burst, then Xiangling burst. Oops. Pyro, swirl, apply hydro, then Xiangling, and then switch with whoever has their skill. Oops, I made up a mess there, but you get the point. I forgot that this is Ayato. Ayato, unlike Shinkyu, Ayato should be the one on the field using the skill that he has. So like this, he's always the one on field doing that damage. So for this one again, apply Pyro, Swirl, then Ayato. See that 54k, 51k. That is a good rotation. So let's move to another team. Another team rotation would be Freeze. So in Freeze, it depends again on your team composition. But the one thing that you should remember on Freeze team is to always have take note of the of what element is there. You only need two elements here, Hydro and Cryo. So if the enemy has Hydro, remember to hit it with Cryo. And if the enemy has Cryo, remember to hit it with Hydro. So again, I will be using 4 stars here. The formula of Freeze is 2 Cryo, 1 Hydro, and 1 Anemo. So it goes like this. Again, the one that you swirl on Viridescent is the one that will is the first one that you should. The first one that you swirl on Viridescent is the first one that will have the resistance reduced. So I need to apply Cryo first. Cryo, then swirl. So since they have Cryo there, I will now apply the Hydro with the Shinkyu. And since Shinkyu is always applying the Hydro, this one should be Cryo. One thing that is quite not good about Freeze team is if the enemy is Cryo, such as this one, they have resistance to cryo to the Cryo element. So this one, I am continuously applying Hydro, so I will go with Cryo. And this one, applying Cryo, so I will go for Hydro. Just take note of that, and you will perma-freeze enemies. Diona is applying Cryo, so I must have Shinkyu's Hydro, but of course, it's on cooldown. So that is one rotation. So like that. So that is the basics of Freeze team. The Freeze team rotation. So for Freeze team, what I did earlier, Rosaria with the Favonius Lance, same as Bennett. This one is again a Favonius weapon. So critical hit will generate particles. This one is the same as Shinkyu, Sacrificial Bow, damaging an enemy 80% to reset the cooldown. And you know about Shinkyu and Sucrose. Again, Useful swords are the Sacrificial and the Favonius. I mean, useful weapons. Sacrificial sword and Favonius, except for the Favonius Codex, in which case Sacrificial Fragments with Sucrose is always superior. So let's go to another team comp. I mean, freeze comp. In this time, we will go with the 5 stars. So this time, let's do Diona instead of this one. Again, the concept is still the same. In the team, you need 2 Cryo. In this case, Ayaka and Diona. If you have Shenhe, then you can use her. 1 Hydro Applicator and 1 Anemo. So in this case, again, what I've said earlier, Venti is much superior than the others, Kazuha and Sucrose. Number 1, because Venti pulls harder. His CC is very much superior to them. Number 2, it's because the elemental boost and elemental mastery boost of Sucrose and Kazuha is not that needed in Freeze team, because the damage difference, the damage that they do will not change regardless of their elemental mastery. So Venti is the one that is good here. Again, pull. This one apply Hydro, then Cryo, and then when they are freeze, use every skill that is on cooldown. That is not on cooldown. So again, that is one rotation. So another rotation. CC, Hydro Application. So they are freeze. Remember, they are applied by Cryo earlier. So I use this turn to apply Hydro on them. This is another rotation. Again, this one I will apply Cryo. So I need Hydro to make them freeze. And then while they are freeze, I will use any skill that is not on cooldown. And I can rotate again. Again, my rotation starts with Venti. I will apply, there is Cryo already, so I will apply Hydro. So yeah, that's basically it. Monsters like this, I think you can CC them. Just remember to wait for the right time. So I will apply Hydro, then apply Cryo. There we go. So we already have Cryo, so I will apply Ayatos Hydro. So that's the only thing that you should think on freeze comp. Number 1 is to crowd control them using Sucrose, Kazuha, or Venti. And number 2 is to take note of which element they are infused and use the other element to freeze them. The next thing that I will tell you about is doing Bennett plus a unit that is holding Trailing Tales. So in this case, Mona is one of the characters that can boost significant damage because of her burst. So usually Bennett is the one that can boost so much attack. Number 1 because of his pyro. I mean, because of his burst. And number 2 because he is a pyro character that can resonate with another pyro. So in case like this, we'll do this one. And for higher damage, and I'll switch this one. So this setup will give us more damage boost, and and again, as I have said earlier, I will use Mona. Which DPS should we? Let's try Klee. Okay. Then Mona, and where is Kazuha? So this one, you will highlight Klee. You will highlight Klee's damage with these 3 supports. So again, Bennett, you know Bennett, he can boost damage by the burst, while Mona can increase damage by using this one. Increase damage by 50% on level 5. But the downside to this is that it only lasts 4 seconds. The Omen. So it is not good for characters like Xiangling, wherein her skill lingers for like 10 seconds, because this one will only last for 4.5. So this is very good with Pyro DPS that can burst within 2 seconds, 2 to 4 seconds. An example of them are Diluc, Hu Tao, Klee, and not Yoimiya, but yes, some DPS that can unleash their burst within a span of 3 to 4 seconds. And of course, you know Kazuha, he can buff elemental mastery when triggering swirl reactions. And of course, the Vivi, Iridescent Banner. So yan, Feacer. Let's go with this one. Bear with me. Go with this one. Too low. Low crit rate. Oh, Xiangling. Let us see. 48. I do not think I have any other crit rate. Yeah, let's try this for the sake of 70 to 100. So remember that when using Mona, she has trailing tails. So the next character that you switch after Mona, that will be the one that will inherit the buff. Not the party, not the whole party, but the next character that you switch after Mona. So the rotation here is to, of course, Bennett's Burst for the application. Next is the Kazuha Swirl. Then after that, you apply Hydro with Mona and her Burst. And then finally, do Klee's Charge Attack. Klee's Charge Attack is a very much is a very much a huge kit for her to unleash that what do you call that quick burst, that burst within 3 to 4 seconds. As you can see here, it took 4 Bennett's top E to full up his energy, the burst. So this is mainly for testing out damage showcases. So again, the first thing that I will do is to destroy the core. So next, destroy the core, pyro buff, swirl, then Mona, then the next one would be Klee. So she has the trailing tails, the Bennett's buff, and the elemental mastery gain for Kazuha. So all I need is to just press left click, hold left click for the damage. It didn't crit. Let's try it again. It didn't crit that time. So yeah, 69 didn't crit. It's a shame. I should have given energy recharge to Mona. Okay. So again, what I need to do here is to do Bennett's burst, then Kazuha, then Mona, and then finally switch to Klee. But I will be using food here so that I have a higher chance to do critical. So that your time will not be wasted. Just remember the rotations. We can do it with Klee here. Oh, I messed up there. 50k. But it's kinda messed up because I did Kazuha burst. I shouldn't have done that. But you get the point of that. So the next, you can do it with another character. Now let me show you the whole. It's a shame if I did not show you. Let's go here. So let's do what we learned in the earlier. Let's try freeze with other characters, and let's try the one that I did earlier. I think the next thing that I will be showing you is, so here again, apply cryo cryo application, burst, then hydro application. So while they are frozen here, there I will burst with Ayaka, and then use any skill that is not on cooldown. Remember to normal attack between turns so that Shinkyu can apply hydro. And of course, the skills that are not on cooldown, let's call it active skill. Cryo application. Next is hydro application, frozen. Again, cryo, crowd control, hydro application, freeze, then the burst. Cryo application, normal attack for hydro application, and then there you have it. So in the next, this one is what we've been doing earlier. Again, pyro application, Bennett, then Kazuha, then Mona, then switch to Klee. Oops. There we go, 88k. Oh, Klee died, but you get the point. That is the rotation that I am telling you there. So the next one will be Taser Comp. Taser Comp is much like the freeze team, but in this one I will be using these four. Wait. I will be using Sucrose as the main damager. Oh wait, the freeze team. You already know that, right? This one, of course, the Trailing Tails. Let me switch it with this. So for the Taser team, those are the three most common team composition. The next one would be this, the freeze, the Taser, and the melt, the vaporize team. So this one, Sucrose will be the one damaging. So why Sucrose? Because Electro Charge is always the, as I've said, is the one of the, I mean not one, I think it's no, one of the elemental reaction that will linger for like 2 to 3 seconds. So while that is ongoing, Sucrose will continue to debuff Hydro and Electro. Again, with this team, Electro Resonance will continuously provide us with energy particles. So yes, so for this one, I highly suggest one Noblesse user. I do not have any Noblesse user, so Fischl will do. But if you want, you can do this Shinkyu to be Noblesse user, and Fischl to be the tenacity of Millilet user. Because of the bird, Oz can, the name of the bird is Oz. Oz can provide this continuous buff to the team. And this one, of course, emblem. If you have Skyward Pride, use it. If you have this fish, you can use it. Or Prototype Archaic or Favonius Greatsword, you can also use it. Or Sacrificial Sword, you can use it. For this one, you can use Stringless. This one, Stringless, or this new bow. Or Favonius Warbow if you want. And yes, that's it. This team does not have a healer except for Xingqiu, which only heals for a very small amount. What is it? 20%. Just read about it. I've forgotten. But the more important thing here is the damage reduction ratio, again 29% for level 10, and this damage reduction here, 29 plus 34, it's pretty much like 60% damage reduction, right? So yes, Sucrose can tank it. Just make sure that you are dodging. The same thing, the same concept applies here. So constantly apply with these two. These two elements, Hydro and Electro. Just continuously apply them, whichever one is available, burst or... This one is more chaotic and does not have that much of a rotation. Just take note that Sucrose must continue to trigger the swirl so that the electro damage and hydro damage will continue to be shredded. So the first thing that I will do is to let Fischl's bird out. Fischl's bird out, then Xingqiu. Oops. Xingqiu and then Beidou. And then CC with Sucrose and continue to normal attack and use her skills, and then switch to Fischl so that the bird resets. Again, Fischl's bird resets if you use her burst. So this one. Again, just spam whatever skill is not on cooldown. So that one is already a rotation. So this one is another rotation. This one is kind of good if you want chaotic chaotic team composition. See that I invisibility framed them. I framed them. Just switch to whoever has active skill, then let out. This is what it looks like. It's always one character does not stay long here. So yeah, that's it. That is how the taser works. It's a little bit chaotic. So that's basically the rotation of some or most team composition. However, there are certain team composition that will allow a certain DPS to have the spotlight. meaning for the duration of their burst or skill or whatever uh, hard hitting skill or burst they have, for the duration of that they must be on the field. An example is Xiao. So in Xiao, he for when he bursts, all all spotlight will be on him, and you cannot uh, you not you cannot but you can only switch if his burst is already finished or he's close to dying. So again, for Xiao, Zhongli shield, Bennett burst, CC, then yeah, jump and jump and jump and jump for the duration of his burst. As long as he's jumping, you must not switch character. Jump and jump, yeah. So that's it. He does not have any burst anymore, so this is the time for the others to generate energy. Like that. So that's a rotation for Xiao. My Xiao is C6, so I will proudly show it to you. What's the difference between C0 to C5 and C6? So in C6 Xiao, you jump and then plunge, then you will have unlimited usage of the elemental skill for 1 second. So the gameplay will be very much different. This one, if I plunge, then elemental skill, again plunge, then elemental skill, then plunge, then only elemental skill. I don't know why, but that's the problem of C6 Xiao. If the enemies are prone to airborne, sometimes his skills couldn't follow them. So Sucrose can help with that. She can CC them and ding ding ding. But Xiao must hit 2 enemies or more for that to activate. Otherwise, he's only a C1 to C5 Xiao. So this one, Zhongli can also help petrify enemies. Then of course, when one enemy remain, you will only be like a C1 Xiao. That's the sad part of Xiao. So yep, that is an example of a hyper carry. Another one is Raiden for the duration of her burst. Unfortunately, I do not have Raiden here. For the duration of his burst, her burst, you must be on the spotlight and not switch. So for this one, I have Ayato, which can also be considered a hyper carry as long as you're doing elemental skill. You are doing this one, ching 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 ching. It's not much longer. It's not that long compared to Xiao, but this is considered hyper carry. Where are you? So for this one, I do not have reaction, but just buff Ayato as much as I can. So again, Yunjin, I mean, you can do Ayato burst so that Kazuha can swirl the burst, the Hydro. Then Yunjin elemental burst. Then Bennett, then Ayato. This one. Shing, 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 shing. 28k, 29k, 30k. Shing, 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 shing. Okay, that's it. That's a rotation for Ayato. So without the buff, see 6k, only 6k damage. $9k with the swirl. Oops. So this takes too much time just to show you, but you get the concept of this video, right? The rotation, proper rotation. I think it's the same as last time. Oh, I kinda not did that very well, but yeah. Like last time, the elemental reaction video, but yeah. For this one, before we go, I should say, I don't know, the things to remember here are the snapshots. So yeah, Xiangling Pyronado can snapshot, as well as Fischl Bird, this one, and Beidou Stormbreaker. Those are the ones that can snapshot. I do not know if Rosaria can snapshot, but those that does not snapshot is Bennett, I think, Noel, and Ayato, I think. So yeah, that's it. And another thing is the use of trailing tails. Of course, on your rotation, remember to always rotate Mona before your DPS, so that if you switch to your DPS, the effect of these trailing tails will trigger to the next one, to your DPS or sub DPS. So yeah, I hope you learned a lot, especially on the national team with the 4 or any variants that you use, because this national team will carry you a lot on the abyss or any non-pyro boss. So yeah, basically that's the concept of the rotation. Anything else? Sunfire, it's a little bit advanced. Yeah, so just remember, if you do not know what team to build, always go for a Bennett and an Anemo. Bennett and an Anemo, and whatever 5 stars that you have. Bennett, Anemo, or a Shielder, and then any DPS that you have. If you do not know what to build, those are the supports that are good. That's why I keep on telling you that Bennett, Kazuha, and Zhongli are the must-have on your accounts. So after you get these 3, the others, the DPS, the other 5 stars that will appear, just choose among them, but prioritize these 3, because they can support your team so much. And if you lose 50-50, just pray for Jin, again for the Viridescent Venerer and the heal, and Mona for the buff here. So yeah, that's it. This is quite a long video because I kept on making a demo here, but basically all the things that I've discussed here are covered on the last, I don't know if it's the last, but on the video on elemental reactions. But yeah, the next video, I do not know what will be the next video. So mind your teams a lot. If you already have one team on the Abyss that you wanted, no, I think you should prioritize this team for the Abyss. This team for the Abyss, and make another team that is not composed of any one of these. And I think you should be good to go there on the Abyss. You should clear floor 12 easily if you have enough. If you are on this level, you know, if you can level 90 them, if you can have the stats of 5150 and energy recharges. So yeah, I hope that you can that this helped you a lot. So if you have questions, just message me. And I think it's about time to go to an in-depth character tutorials. I think it would be Xiangling or Bennett. I don't know. I do not know. Just enjoy the game. Bye.